Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. We're taking a super focused, absolutely no fluff look at a question practically every property owner asks at some point. If you're a homeowner right here in San Diego and you're looking to maximize your property value before a sale, or honestly, if you're just trying to make some smart upgrade decisions, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're breaking down exactly how fences impact home value in the San Diego market. We're skipping all the guesswork, and we're looking directly at the hard data to see what actually works for sellers and what is, well, just a waste of your money.
Okay, let's dive into this and tackle the biggest, most common homeowner myth out there, the idea of a dollar-for-dollar return. So many of us assume that if we write a big check for a home improvement project, we're going to see that exact same amount seamlessly added right onto the appraisal value of the home. But when it comes to fencing, is that actually how it works? Does a new fence literally pay for itself the moment you hand over the keys to a buyer?
Well, the short answer is no, it doesn't. National remodeling data consistently shows that a new fence usually recovers between 50 to 70% of its cost at resale. Now, I know that number might come as a bit of a shock, especially if you were totally banking on a 100% return. To put that into perspective, if you drop $6,000 on a beautiful new fence, it might only add about $3,000 to $4,000 to your home's appraised value. So as a standalone line-item investment, a fence rarely pays for itself. But hold on, because that raw number dramatically understates the real power of a fence in a hyper-competitive real estate market.
Which brings us to Section 1, Unlocking Hidden Buyer Appeal. Let's look at how a well-matched fence actually speeds up a sale.
Listen to this insight because it's a real game changer. The fence itself isn't the asset. The private, secure, finished yard it creates is. Here in San Diego, outdoor living space is a massive part of what buyers are actually paying for. Thanks to our incredible climate, a backyard gets used all year round. When a potential buyer walks out back, they aren't just staring at the property line. They're looking for a functional, private outdoor living room. A clean, permitted fence defines that yard. It adds privacy from the neighbors or a busy road. It keeps the dog and the kids secure. Ultimately, it removes objections before a buyer ever even sits down to write an offer. Homes that feel move-in ready with a fully finished yard just photograph better, they hold attention longer online, and they ultimately sell faster and much closer to asking price.
All right, moving right along to Section 2, choosing the right materials. Because what you build it out of really matters.
And this brilliantly illustrates the hierarchy of fence materials when it comes to resale value. Notice how vinyl and quality wood, like cedar or redwood, pull really strong returns. Why is that? Well, because buyers read them as intentional premium upgrades. Vinyl gives you that crisp, clean look that promises decades of low maintenance, no repainting, no rotting. Quality wood, it just matches perfectly with San Diego's warm, natural, indoor-outdoor architectural style. But on the flip side, look down at chain link. Its value impact is weak to neutral. It's perfectly functional, sure, but most buyers just view chain link as a temporary placeholder. It's a chore they're going to have to spend money on later to replace. So remember, when you choose a material, you are choosing the exact message you send to the buyer.
Next up is Section 3, Liabilities. Bad fences and pools. We need to talk about the massive risks hiding in your yard. This is something so many sellers totally underestimate. A leaning, gray, rotting fence is actually worse for your property value than having no fence at all. No, seriously. If you have no fence, a buyer might just see it as a blank slate, right? But a damaged, weathered fence actively works against you. It screams deferred maintenance. It makes your listing photos look tired. And most dangerously, it makes the buyer wonder, if they didn't fix the fence, what else inside the walls is completely broken? It's basically an invitation for lowball offers because buyers view it as an expensive, immediate problem they have to solve. If your fence is visibly failing, repairing or replacing it before you list is almost always a smart move.
And then, oh boy, we have the ultimate deal breaker, the pool. In California, a pool fence is not some nice aesthetic upgrade. It is a strict legal requirement. The state's pool barrier law legally mandates a code-compliant safety fence around residential pools. If you are missing this, or if your current barrier isn't quite up to code, it absolutely will surface during the home inspection. And we're not talking about a minor deduction here. This can completely stall out or even entirely kill your sale while you're sitting in escrow. A compliant pool fence is way less about adding new value and entirely about protecting the value you already have. It turns the pool back into an asset instead of a massive red flag.
Okay, on to our final playbook, Section 4, Smart Budgeting for Your Neighborhood. Let's figure out how to spend wisely. If you are planning a value-focused project here in San Diego, this right here is your target range. Most projects land between $3,500 and $12,000, obviously depending on the material, the length, and your site conditions.
Vinyl and quality wood usually sit right smack in the middle of this range. The key takeaway here is to match your neighborhood. Do not, I repeat, do not spend $15,000 on some overbuilt, extravagant block wall if every single other home on your block just has a simple wood fence. You will rarely, if ever, see a return on that difference. Your goal isn't to have the most expensive fence, it's to have a fence that perfectly fits the buyer's expectations for your specific area.
So the crucial point is this. If you want a fence that actually pays off, it needs to check these exact boxes. It must be fully permitted. An unpermitted fence is just asking for a nightmare in escrow. It needs to match the home and the block. It absolutely must be built cleanly with proper footing so it actually stays straight for years, using those upgraded intentional materials we talked about earlier. And please, if you have an HOA, make sure it is approved beforehand to save yourself a massive headache later. Also, just a quick tip, if your current fence is structurally sound but just looks a little, tired, sometimes a simple power wash, a quick spot repair, or a fresh coat of stain is a vastly smarter investment than a full tear out and replacement.
Which brings us to the absolute final thought I want to leave you with today. Seriously, go look out your back window right now and ask yourself, is your backyard an asset or is it an objection just waiting to happen? When a prospective buyer walks out there, do they see a private, finished outdoor living room where they can instantly picture themselves kicking back and relaxing? Or do they see a weekend chore, a deferred maintenance warning, and a really good reason to negotiate your price down? By understanding the true ROI of fencing in San Diego, you can ensure your yard is actually working for you and not against you. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you make the smartest possible move for your home's value.